Hello and welcome back to Exeter and Laira. It's been a while since I've done an actual layout update, and as there's been a fair bit of work done to it, it makes sense to give you guys all a quick update of what's been going on. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the north end, the non-scenic area of the layout. For the last few months I've discovered that I missed a very vital part of a typical operation outside St David's Station, just beyond the level crossing, and what I've done is made a major change on the non-scenic area. And this would have been, if people follow the channel and know, the non-scenic area housed two reverse loops, which gave the ability of trains to reverse and go back in the opposite direction, giving the impression that the trains either leave the station or the top end of Laira, go down the reverse loop, come back in the opposite direction, so it creates the illusion that the trains have got off to their destination and eventually returned. Though at the time when I designed them they were quite a novel idea, and would have been good to see the trains running and using the reverse loops. But alongside with this prototypical running, and the fact that I probably wouldn't have used them as much as I originally planned to do, I've taken the option to make a major change to this non-scenic area. So this area now has a complete flat board on top, and one of the reverse loops does still exist and is still positioned just underneath the board up this end. I'll update this area in the future once I've got all the track work in, and one of the benefits of this is it now increases the whole layout from 2 operational loops to actually 3, and will actually make running the layout and operating it a lot easier. Another thing I've been quite busy on is building the dividing wall between the road and the actual car park, and getting them weathered up and painted into as near as the correct colours that you see of this walling outside St David's. Still a lot more work to do to these. Plenty of brick piers are positioned along the wall in various locations, and some more weathering as well. Now I've actually used random stone plastic card by Slaters, and these are weathered down by just using the Vallejo pigments and a mixture of those with acrylic paints, just to create the stone and mortar effects. The construction of these is just 3.6mm plywood, and the plastic cards just stuck to those and then detailed and weathered. They are all still removable at the moment, so as I've not quite finished the effects on them, and obviously I've still got to fit either capping stones or some sort of cement top to the top of the plywood there. So I've done a bit more work to the concrete hard standing area that was seen in the previous video, just increased the size of this a little bit more, and I've also gone over in various places using some woodland scenics, some of the grey fine gravel, and you sort of lay this the same way as you would do with a normal track ballast, and just trying to create the effect of loose scalpings that have been shoveled in various areas, or pretty much most of the car park, or bar a small area just down here. This is kind of roughly how it looks today, so quite difficult to obtain pictures back in the early 90s of what it would have looked like, but quite pleased with the results of that. It's coming along, still a little bit more weathering and work to do to it, but it's heading in the right direction. I've also been finishing off the platform surfaces and the detail on top of that. This is the same sort of principle of the tarmac effect that you see I did with my roads, though I did take a slightly different approach on how I did this. To sort of achieve this finish, what I did was mask up all the platform edges. So that's the plasticard paving slab effect was masked up, and then gave the whole lot a coat of relatively dark grey paint, and then just simply used a sponge in various different shades of grey and some of the skin pink colour as well, and then just basically wipe off the excess off the sponge before stippling that all over the surface of the platforms. Takes a little while just to build up the layers, so I think I went over these probably about 12 times, and just to build the tones up again until you got something that resembles kind of a fresh laid asphalt sort of finish, or something that's not as worn in terms of there's no road traffic that travels over it, just general foot passenger traffic, so you don't want nothing too worn like I did with the roads. Again, with this I've just added various repair patches, and they're just picked out by a pencil just to highlight those, and then the whole surface is given a very light rub down with a extremely fine grit sandpaper, just to bring some of the underlying tones back through to the surface again, so you don't end up with a uniform finish. I've also done the white line along the edges of the platforms as well. And to do that, what I used was the edding pens, and as these have got kind of a fibrous nib on the end of it, you can just pop a slit into the end of the nib, and then just use that as a guide, and that will give you a nice neat edge all the way along. So once I'm happy with all the tones of the surfaces, I'll give the whole lot a coat of clear matte varnish, and that will just enable me to apply any further weathering tones on top in the future. I've also just gone over the surface of the pavement just outside where the station building will be, to give that more of an aged appearance to it, with various cracks and repair patches in various places. I've also installed more of the scale model scenery drain covers in various places. Again, just chopping those into the surface of the plasterboard, and they look pretty good. Quite pleased with how they've turned out. Bit of a glossy finish to them, but what I'll do is once I've completed this section again, I'll spray over the surface with a matte varnish that will blend it all in together. Now I'm just going to give a mention to Thomas over at St Peter's Layout. He did a competition a few weeks back and was giving away this Hornby coal hopper wagon, and luckily for me I won, and that was posted out to me. Lovely little wagon, plenty of detail on them, and I will be looking at building up a nice big long rake of these in the near future. So thanks to Thomas for that, and if you want to go and check out his channel, you could pop down into the video description and I'll add the link to his channel in there. Next additions I've got are these two Daypole wagons, one Grampus and one Turbot. Eventually I will build up a long rake of these, and there'll also be some of the track panel wagons mixed in with it as well. So I've been slowly building up the ballast train, and picked up these two Helgian dogfish. and also picked up a Hornby sea line, and they've been added along with the two previous weathered sea cow wagons. So this will make up part of the ballast train, which will be obviously extended in the future. And the final addition is this Beckerman 108, one of the older models, but still packed with plenty of detail and a nice looking model. So looking forward to getting that one chipped up and finally running. So the fleet is growing, and plenty of new additions that I'm going to look forward to running on the layout once I've completed the non-scenic area at the back. So that concludes this layout update, and I will be back relatively soon with another video. Most likely be focusing on the major scenery work all down the north end, just beyond the level crossing. So as always, thanks for watching, and any questions or comments, please do drop them down in the comments section. And as always, don't forget to check out the links in the video description as well.